Here are 5 tips for your first real estate investment. Tip number 1, because we're building flex space and this is industrial real estate, we are not actually looking for frontage. Frontage real estate is actually very expensive and you want to buy something that is not street facing for a little bit cheaper. Tip number 2 is location. Location is important, but is not the most important thing when looking at these projects. A lot of people want to go into industrial business parks or projects that are zoned industrial or whatnot. I actually build outside city limits in the county next to residential subdevelopments. And that is where I can get my permits pulled faster. And this brings me to tip number 3. Make sure you're out of city limits, in the county limits, and this is usually 40 to 50 minutes outside any major city so that your permitting process can be completed in 2 to 3 months as opposed to in 2 to 3 years in some cases. Tip number 4. Land shapes. A lot of people want to buy exact squares or exact rectangles when it comes to land shapes. This is just not the case. When it comes to industrial development, we work with lands of any sizes and shapes. And the reason is because these are often lands that other people can't work with, but we can design beautiful flex space projects on them and we can get them for cheaper. And finally, tip number 5, which is most of these lands may not have utilities to the actual land. The only thing that's important when developing flex space is actually power. Just make sure you have power. When it comes to sewer and water, you can always do well and septic, which is extremely efficient, economically efficient, and you can save a lot of money as opposed to connecting or tying in to your local city.